Hello, everyone. I am just doing a quick live because of the crazy state of the world today. I always think, well, if I do a live, I'd like to. There's so many other topics. I'm a writer, I'm a musician, an artist. I have Beatles stuff that I love to talk about, but it's pretty bad right now. The political situation is pretty horrible. So I just feel like it's good to come on and just tell you some intuitive things I'm getting. I've been saying first of all, let's talk about Greenland. So I've been getting from the very beginning that Greenland would not be taken over by us, and Canada would not be. And you can see how other countries are indeed fortifying Greenland and against 45. Now he's doing the whole rhetoric of if you don't let me take over, other countries are going, like the country that starts with R will attack you. And oh, hi, Carl. So you're awake. I was going to mention your comment, but I thought I would write something later. But here you are, here I am. Yeah, politics. It's pretty bad, as you know. I mean, it's been bad. It's not like it's ever gotten better, but it's pretty bad right now. But yeah, thanks for being here, Carl. I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad that you're still awake. So, so yeah, Greenland. Let's talk about Greenland and how I really uh, have never felt like the way I work as an intuitive. I could pull cards, but I feel like because I have maybe it's the Gemini in me because I have Gemini rising, right? And I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. Unfortunately, it's good for my writing, but it's not good for other things, I think. And like 45 is a Gemini, and a lot of people who support him are Geminis. And so I think the Gemini part of me, when I pull cards, is not always so confident, but I know how I feel. And so when intuitively, when I think of something like Greenland, I just always would get, nah, it's not really worth worrying over. Like Minnesota, I'm way more worried about Minnesota than I am about Greenland. I'm way more worried about Minnesota than like Venezuela. I'll bet I don't know a lot about Venezuela, but anyway, the antenna with this, like I am. What is this? Let me see. Show. And it says it's the antenna with, he's like, okay, I'm not sure what that means. Let me know what that means. Maybe it's just about being awake. 11. I wake up, sometimes I wake up at 5. I wake up all night, but I'm one of those 3 o'clock in the morning people. I just wake up 3 a.m. Okay, why is it 3? Why do I always wake up at 3? And then I go back to sleep, and then it's 4 or 5, and I usually get up about 5. I'm an 11, born on the 5th, on the 11th. Oh, that's cool. It was 11/11 the other day. Well, wait, it was 1/11, and also it was 1. Wait, because 2026 is a 10. So we had like the first day was like 1/110, and then we had 110. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, there's lots of numbers. It's like an antenna. Oh, that's true. It's also the twin flame, and it's also very spiritual. Like 11/11 is very spiritual. So that's cool. But yeah, you must have an antenna for things and picking up certain things. So you're a receiver, more of a sender. So I get you Geminis, yeah. And I'm a Taurus, so it grounds me, and my North Node is Aquarius. But I do have a lot of Gemini. It's true. I think my grandfather had a lot of Gemini because he loved books and he loved writing. And I just always, when I think of my grandfather, and he loved legal stuff. No, maybe he was a Libra. No, wait, maybe he was Scorpio. I think he was like that Libra Scorpio cusp. Anyway, I have a whole bunch of my chart, but that's cool that you have the 11/11. That's really cool. I think that's interesting. Well, yeah. So receiving, feeling. I just have never felt anything bad about Greenland, just other than the annoyance of what 45, how he's threatening them. Um, I feel like Canada will be fine. Um, but I really do feel like Greenland, it's just not going to happen. And other countries are not. Now, here's my problem. Like 45, let's say he did push through on the whole Greenland thing, which you never know. because he's manipulated timelines. So you never know. I feel like we won't have the Olympics. The U.S. team won't be able to go to the Olympics, and that, oh my God, that would make me so upset because I am so ready to watch the Olympics. I love the figure skating and all of it. So I'm just praying that we can have peace. Can we just have some peace in this world for once? You're so very patient, then Amy, and very generous as a Taurus. Yeah, I'm pretty patient. That's the thing about Tauruses too. We're really patient. And then when we lose our patience, people who are so used to us being, like pacifists, quiet, waiting in line, waiting, whatever. And then we sort of like lose it because we waited too long and didn't say anything. And then people get mad at us because they're not used to us losing our patience. So yeah, it's kind of hard. It's a hard thing to do. It's just a distraction. It's all planned and staged. And that's something we'll talk about. So let me get a sip. I thought I've had a lot of sort of spiritual revelations today about everything. And I was thinking about how, especially with Minnesota, the powers that be, this is all the powers that be. People make money off war. People make money off of tear gas and tactical gear and guns and bullets. And I'm getting flagged by the FBI right now with my word. People make money. It's a corporation. It's a business. War is a business. And so is raids on towns and, immigration raids. Those are a business too. People making tactical gear. They're making a ton of money. Tear gas, guns, handcuffs, zip ties, all these things. It's a business. It's a business. And with all the money we're spending on these raids and the agents that are being sent to these raids, we could have had healthcare. We could have had school meals. We could have had education, free education. We could have had, again, healthcare, roads, bridges fixed, and daycares and child, all these things. Veterans and everything else that we've been stripped of and are being stripped of. These agents and the civil war that's being placed on American towns right now and communities is making someone a lot of money. So that's something for people to realize, that war and civil wars and civil disturbance is always planned and put together by the powers that be, who, like, I saw something today now for entertainment purpose only. My area, it showed where they're going to have these icy roads agents, okay, and it showed a location where they're going to have a containment center to hold immigrants or whoever they round up, and it is an Amazon building, a warehouse. So basically, Amazon and the DHS, for entertainment purposes only, are working together. So all the stuff we've bought from Amazon is funding these horrible events of people being rounded up. That's not good. And that's a huge betrayal on the American public, right? It's all about the money. It is. It's being flagged. Yeah, am I being flagged by the FBI? I think I've been flagged many times by I really do. But again, I'm just someone making intuitive guesses. I'm not, just having an opinion here. And here's the thing, as I've said this before, if I can't say it, why is it happening? It's happening. I'm just talking about stuff that's happening. If it's literally being done in our world, in our country, then why is it my fault if I talk about it, right? And hello. Hi there. Let's see, who are you? I need to expand this because I can't read. Hi, love. How you doing? Autofi? Sutafi? I need new glasses. I need contacts. These glasses are old and I'm whatever. But hello. I was there. I would have gone to jail for yeah. There's like people who say, okay, so now the thing with MAGA is to say, well, just comply. You're like, okay, well, here's the thing. People are in their homes. They're not immigrants. They're not illegal citizens. which nobody is illegal on stolen land. We're all immigrants here, but they're just in their homes watching TV or getting ready for work or school, and tear gas is getting through their windows, and their kids are eyes are burning and coughing because tear gas. There's a war. So how do you comply with that? You're literally just an American citizen in your home. You're driving down the road and you are getting gassed and bombed, and your car windows being broken because you're just trying to drive down the road. There was a guy who had children in his car. He told the agents, what should I do? My house is filled with tear gas. And they said, well, get in your car and go drive somewhere. So he did. And then they tear gassed his car. And a baby in his car couldn't breathe and had to go to the hospital. This is an American citizen. So they're using, it's like gas chambers. Our houses and our cars are gas chambers. Tell me that's not a war on American cities and towns. So it's very upsetting, obviously. People who say just comply to what? Like what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? This is unprecedented. It's horrible. And it came out of just because Tim Walz wouldn't let someone call his son the R word, a derogatory term. And his son, by the way, is very smart. Not that matters because, we're all on some sort of spectrum of learning and abilities and everything else. But anyway, Tim Walz wouldn't let someone call his son the R word. So then MAGA and everybody started this whole campaign against Tim Walz. And then 45 started this whole lie that Somali people in Minnesota were like frauding the daycare centers. And that was proven to be false. But that wasn't enough. Facts aren't enough. So now all this war on Minnesota just because Tim Walz didn't want people calling his son the R word. God forbid you tell a narcissist 45, no, this is what it looks like. But also, people need to follow what Governor Newsom in California did. And yes, Carl, you're thankful you're not there. I agree. It's pretty bad being in America right now. It's pretty horrible. So, but yeah, people should follow what Governor Newsom did. It wasn't easy, but he really did a lot of steps using the Justice Department and our law and our Constitution to push off 45. And you notice a lot of things that 45 does, like he'll say, I'm going to take all the money away from daycare. I'm going to take the money away from the blue states. I'm going to take money from, and then the next day a judge will say, that's not really constitutional, denied. So, just like, I guess just let 45 do these stupid things that aren't going to pass and not react, perhaps not react. He's an idiot and a moron, worse than being, yeah, I know. And it is a hothead, like 45 and MAGA, they're just hotheads. But let's get back to the spiritual aspect of it. I get pretty angry like everybody else. Sometimes I'm in my car and I'm just start screaming. I'll be driving home from work and I just start screaming because it's just so horrifying and it's so illogical. I've talked about Star Trek before and how it's like the Borg. It's like the Borg has taken over the ship. Now the captain would say, attention, Starfleet, or what have you. The Borg has taken over. If anyone asks you to be assimilated into the collective, please do not speak to them. Walk the other way. Let Spock deal with it. Do not engage. Do not engage. And it really is like the Borg because all these MAGA people have been assimilated into the collective. Like their mind has been taken over. And it's getting to we have the Borg took over the Enterprise. I just wish that MAGA could see that. They've been assimilated. They really have. Can you channel his spirit guide? It's a parole officer, according to Susan Lynn. Who would that be? Would it be 45? Are you talking about 45? Let me know. The way that I see 45, I've seen this for a while. He's not connected to spirit. Yeah, okay, Frump and 45, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I've gotten about him. Take another sip here. He lives in his ego. He lives down, so that's way down, and it's like, you know how like in the Bible and just all religious text and movies and cartoons, heaven's up here in the clouds and hell is down here below the earth. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because your ego is down closer to the earth and it's tied to earthly desires and money. Money is an earthly thing that's not in heaven. Sex, drugs, all the stuff down here. So it's down. And up here, when you get up here to like your crown chakra, you're connected to the higher realms and your spirit guides and all that. Well, he's not 45 is not connected at all. Not at all. I don't know if he ever has been connected to his spirit guides and angels, things like that. And hello, Sutapi, hello. And so he has no connection to his spirit guides. Now, are they there? I'm sure. I'm sure they're still there. Poor things. Can you imagine having to be his spirit guides and angels? What a job. But he really is not connected. So I sense more his mother working on him, and that's not working. But also I feel, of all people, it's like A Christmas Carol, where Marley, isn't it Marley, comes back from the depths of hell and with chains and tries to change and does change Scrooge 45 Frump. And so he has Epstein. He doesn't really have spirit guides that are successful, but he has Epstein. And I believe that Jeffrey Epstein, for entertainment purposes only, is the one who is working on him. And a lot of that is through constant reminder now of the files and the things that he and they did to children. And Epstein's brother, as I've said, has been really helping too, because he knows that Jeffrey wants to save his soul. And as I've said, I don't have, I'm not pushing what Jeffrey Epstein did or trying to forgive it in any way, but I feel like he possibly was a victim of sexual abuse as a child. I've said this for over a year, and that it was a product of that. So on the other side, he is trying to make amends, but I don't know. I don't want to connect with Jeffrey Epstein. But I do know that he is the one on the other side who's trying to change 45 the most. It might be the only one who could be successful. So, but let me just say this. Okay, so does 45 have a higher self? Well, we all do. It might take several more lifetimes for him to ever fully connect to his higher self and evolve spiritually. He is that Jim Jones, Hitler, Fred Phelps, Charles Manson archetype. It's an energy that he is embodying. It's the same energy. Do you see any incriminating pics or videos leaks on any time soon that will finally finish him? There already have been, really, but this whole thing with this Sasha person, I don't know his last name, is pretty damning, and I just get a sick feeling. It's funny because for a while before this whole thing about the snuff tapes came out, I was saying I got a really sick feeling, and I said, I think that there's something in the files that is way worse than just teenage girls. That was the feeling I got. And I started to tell people, I think it's way worse than just teenage girls. There's something really bad in there, and something about babies and boys. And, you go back to Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was 45's guide, like teacher, right? Like his teacher. And horrible, not a good person at all. And he taught him how to manipulate the media and use the law and to start smear campaigns with like mafia type of stuff. And he also was gay. Ray Cohn was gay. And like again, over a year ago, I started to say, I think that 45, yeah, baby's thrown in the river, and worse, unfortunately. I it's worse. I don't mean to get all dramatic, but anyway, moving on from that. But I'll just say really quick, for entertainment purpose only, what Spirit showed me was that Epstein would have girls have babies, and the babies would be used. For certain reasons. So, not good. I hate it. That's when you are intuitive and you just feel like, I don't want to be an intuitive right now, because that's what I've picked up. It's really awful. So yes, Carl, that's what I'm saying. And Ray Cohn and 45, it's possible. I think he saw a lot and he taught him a lot. I think with the problem with what I've always gotten about 45 is equal opportunist of abuse. Yeah, and sexual things, unfortunately. So whatever that would be, yes, it's really dark. So that you can imagine, that's why 45 will do anything. He'll destroy, he'll invade countries and steal world leaders and start wars in Minnesota to avoid this coming out. But really, I almost feel like we should just face it right now and just be like, okay, this is how bad it was. This is what's in the files. It's worse than you think. It's the worst thing you could ever think of. He doesn't want you to know it, but maybe to save the world from being destroyed day to day, maybe we should just say, we know what you did, but we won't put you in jail if you'll just go away. Like, just go away. We won't put you in jail, but just go away. And also, you can't be around kids. Warning, don't be around this guy. But yeah, it's the more depraved. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but yes, you get the point. It's bad. So, but I just wish we could just come to like a place and just say, let's just accept it. This is what's in the files. It's horrible. Let's just accept it. Do you see him finished by this month? No, but he's getting close. And as you see from the video that I posted, there's these doctors that are specialists in dementia, and how one of the ways that dementia patients die isn't from like just old age. It's from their brain not being able to handle their bodily functions. And one of the bodily functions is to swallow your saliva. And so he's been slurping a lot, and that is a sign apparently of late stage dementia. That late stage meaning he's going to aspirate on his own saliva at some point. Now, I feel like they've been keeping him alive, like through stem cell injections, B12, draining his heart, whatever, his lungs. Like my mother, when she had cancer, she had to have her lungs drained a few times. It's a weird process, but I feel like they've done that. I think they've done like infusions and then drugs to keep him going. Like I've always gotten the Raging Bull performance drugs, get him on there, get him out there. Like adrenaline. I don't know about ketamine, but something with adrenaline is what I just heard. So, and I think for a while when remember he had like all those like bruises all over and like things on his face where he was covering his face with makeup more than usual. I got that street drug thing where it eats your flesh. And that could be from Elon. Now I might be wrong about that, but that's one thing that I saw as a possibility. It's just like, it's so messed up. Like I said, I don't want to talk about these things. It's not my fault that these things are happening, But anyway. Denise Fletcher has a doll of him with needles. There's a lot of people I've seen on TikTok and other places that have rituals and voodoo dolls. And well, can you blame them? Because I always say that if somebody is a massive abuser of humanity, like a Hitler, of course people are going to want that person to go away. It's only natural that people start to have when you have no ability to have your abuser leave and leave you alone and stop the horrors, you start to do things like that where you feel helpless. So you start to do things that a helpless person would do to get, just as an expression to express your anger and your upset and your fear. So yeah, people have voodoo dolls and are doing rituals because they feel so hopeless. Um, yeah. What else? Let me look on here. Oh, okay. So let's talk about this. So I talked about the Star Trek thing. I also got the Lord of the Rings thing. I may have already talked about it. I know you should. Have you ever seen those like the toilet brushes where you clean your toilet and it has 45 space on it, or the what's the other one? A ball you throw it against a wall, or a stretchy doll you smack it. I think we all need one of those. It's a stress reliever. Okay, so Lord of the Rings. So 45 is Sauron. If you know Lord of the Rings, yes, we need that. They would make so much money if they did that. But 45 is Sauron, and the agents that he's sending to these towns are really like orc trolls. Olag Eye is what they're called, or hill trolls, where they're just sort of one brain cell with clubs and mace and chains, and they're just like with nothing in their brain but to cause damage and to kill and to maim, and they come out from the underworld to do this damage. And yeah, he's like Sauron. So I was like, well, who defeated Sauron? Now Gandalf, I don't think Gandalf defeated him. um I don't know who did it. Was it one of the elves, like the female elves, like Kate Blanchett? I don't know who defeated him. So I need to watch Lord of the Rings and see. Oh, but the thing was, what's the ring? Like the ring really is what defeats him when they finally get rid of the ring. Is that the Epstein files? Is the ring the Epstein files? Is the ring his power? Like if they would just remove the presidency, right? Yeah, I don't know. I have to watch the movie. It's been a long time since it's a long movie. Like the trilogy is so long, but I should watch it again. But I feel like the ring is either the Epstein files or just the president, or money. Maybe it's money. And if we could just remove this fake power, because he really has no real power beyond this earthly, realm. The only power he has is the power that's given to him. So the fake adulation. If we could break into the brains of MAGA, I think that's a version of the ring. But yeah, the files, the presidency, just take all that away, and then he has no more power. The immunity that the Supreme Court gave him, if they took that away, that was like the ring. They should take away his immunity. That really didn't help things, because he was president before and he was bad, but he could never do all of this because he didn't have immunity. When they gave him the stupid immunity, that's what made everything a million times worse. So yeah, so that maybe we should focus on that. Focus on the Supreme Court taking away his immunity. Focus on taking away the money. Like, how would we stop the money flow that he's taking from everyone? Because he does things with money. He does evil things for money. Money is the root of all evil. It's the root of the earth. Money is from the earth. It comes from the ground. It comes from like minerals that we mine from the ground, and paper from wood from the ground. So money is the root of all evil. If we took away money, he would have no power. So his immunity and the money. And then, yes, just release the Epstein files and take away the mystery of it and just say, here they are. Here they are. Here it is. Let's not skip it anymore. Here it is. This is what he did. You just deal with it. He was going to be more emboldened the second time around, regardless of the Supreme Court. Yeah, but it didn't help that they gave him immunity. But you're right. The stupid Project 2025. It's funny because I was at work one night after the New Year, and I was like, oh, well, he never finished all of Project 2025. Now what does he do? And then this with the immigration thing. So I guess that's in the 2026 plan. But again, Tim Walz, Tim Walz says, I'm going to send the National Guard. He should have just already done it. Here's the thing. Okay. Before I went to bed last night, I couldn't find my phone for hours. I was like, oh, I lost my phone. So I didn't get to read the news, and which is probably a good thing. And I found it right before bedtime, and I saw right before bedtime that there was like all these warnings in Iran that 45 was going to bomb Iran. He was going to do it because they have this fatwa out on him, like a death warrant on 45. And I was like, uh-oh. Let's see what happens. It's crazy. You never know anymore. And I woke up and he didn't do anything. And I thought, that's interesting. When someone calls his bluff, when he's scared, he backs down. And so I feel like Tim Waltz, he's a wonderful person. He's very kind. He's a very in his heart person. He's tough, but he's kind. I feel like Tim Waltz needs to call his bluff, because you notice that 45 always backs down from someone who is a tougher power than him. When he's really scared, he backs down. So somebody needs to call his bluff. And I know that Tim Waltz is afraid that he's going to start martial law, which is against the Constitution. An insurrection act is against the Constitution. But Tim Waltz should call his bluff. That's what I think. So Geminis like to start many things at once, but rarely finish anything at all. Yeah, it's true. I have defeated that in my life. Now I have had that problem, and for a while I looked around and I thought, I didn't finish this painting, I didn't finish this book, I didn't finish this song. And I started to get a thing where I was able to, if I started something, I would finish. And if I didn't finish it, it was because I didn't want to. But when I really wanted to finish something, like I've written like 11 books. And, so I will finish things. So it's good that whatever part of me, maybe it's the Taurus, is determined and will get things done. Thank God. If you were a reporter and had the chance to talk to him, you'd ask him to his face if he's a pedo. Well, did you see the guy? Okay, so 45 has his Caroline Levitt and his Pam Bondi out as his henchwomen. And they do the Fred Phelps, like, what are you talking about? He's no, you stupid media, you're fake news. Go away, you're fake news. Nobody likes you. We're taking away your press pass. So he's got his protectors to stop. It's like a chessboard. He's got his pawns or his knights around him to stop anyone from saying things like that to him. Now, when he goes out into the real world, the other day he went to a Ford plant and a worker there said, pedophile protector. And then 45 showed him the bird, which is very unpresidential, very, overly emotional, no impulse control. And so it got to him. So somebody did say that to him, and it got to him. And I find that interesting how much, because the guy didn't say, I'm talking to you. 45 was like, he knew that the guy meant him. He was talking about him. So somebody did get through. And of course, MAGA and Fox News, they're all like, of course 45 would show the middle finger. He's just expressing himself. It's like, yeah, but when Obama was president, he got heckled all the time for really stupid crap that didn't even matter. And he never showed the bird. I mean, Obama was called terrible things, and they said terrible things about his wife, and Obama never showed the bird, ever. So I just think the 45 has low impulse control, but also it got to him. Like, it really did. It dug in deep. Yeah. Okay, so Tauruses are headstrong, so you're determined to get things done. Yeah, that's probably a lot of it. Maybe it's the Aquarius. I always say, look at your North Node, because your North Node is your true self. You're born in your sun sign. That's who you're going to be in this. It's like kind of your challenge. It's who you are in this lifetime. But your true self is up here. It connects to your higher self. And my true self is really in Aquarius. So it took me years. I still have all my Taurus stuff, but I'm really more of an Aquarius. And I remember one time I was like, man, I'm so trippy and I'm so weird. And then when I started doing birth charts and I saw that I had my North Node in Aquarius, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Okay, so your rising sign is more of like, it's like your challenge. So my Gemini is my challenge. My Leo is my moon. That's my emotions. And then I have a lot of other stuff. I have an Aries cusp. So I was also an Aries. You're an Aquarius, Cancer rising. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of Scorpio, Cancer elements. And maybe that's more of a Eastern astrology thing. but yeah. Oh, there's my baby down here. There's my baby. Hey, Dodo, my puppy dog. I gotta get him some. No, I fed him already, but you know. And by the way, the sun's starting to leave out here. Virgo moon. Okay, so you have a Virgo moon. That means that you're organized, and it's good that it's your moon because Virgo suns can be like the most annoying. He's down here. He's just laying down here. I wonder if I could show a picture. Let me see. I'll try to find a picture of him. He's my sweetheart. I've got the cutest picture of him where he looks like his Mona Lisa smile. He's so adorable. I don't know if you can see. Oh, come on. Can you see? That's my puppy. It won't let you see it, but whatever. He's so cute. I don't know if you can see that. He's so adorable. Can't see. Damn it. You can't see a thing. He's so beautiful you can't see him. Anyway, I'll post pictures. But okay, so here's another thing. Okay, so somebody was talking on TikTok about how the reason why witches and all of us spiritual people can't seem to get rid of 45 is because he has dark witches, which I've always felt this. I felt this for years. He's got dark witches. He's got voodoo. He's got his own voodoo. And I think he does voodoo on stuff like when he wants a certain football team to win. He does voodoo on the other team. I'm sure he did voodoo on the election. And I feel it when he does that stuff. So he has dark witches doing dark witchcraft and magic to keep him protected. And she said it's like, so a lot of times we talk about it, which we're doing right now, and it gives him power. He feeds it. It's like a jar with the coins dropping in. We say his name and it keeps giving him power. And really what we should do is concentrate on breaking these, like this barbed wire that they put around him. We need to keep chopping away. So sometimes I'll sit and I'll just like meditate and I hate to think of the guy, but I'll think of him and I'll really zone in on him and I'll start cutting away all these wires, these threads. Okay, here's a good example. Spider-Man. You know how Spider-Man, the black suit, the stuff, it like sort of wraps around and you have the black suit Spider-Man. So it's like this tar, tape, sticky vines and it covers him. That's 45. So maybe we should watch Spider-Man 2, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Spider-Man. But yeah, just keep cutting away at it. And, you know, again, I just really feel like his health is, I said it last year. I keep feeling, I just get 2026, he's going to go. Now, the people underneath him aren't so great, but they don't have the cult personality that he has. He really, yeah, he is dumb. He's dumb and he's ugly. There's one guy one time on TikTok and he said, you know, whether you guys support 45 or not, he ugly. And I was like, that's so true. He's trying to think so ugly. Like for everybody to pick their cult figure that they love so much, couldn't they pick a guy that was at least attractive? Like at least Obama. I love Obama. At least he's attractive. Yeah, and he is. And you know, it's ironic that he would call women that. Shut up, piggy, or quiet, piggy. If he's like has evil pig eyes, I've said that for years. His eyes are like evil pig eyes. They're so scary. I do not like to say his name. I don't type his name. I don't look at his eyes. I hate to hear his voice. I like run. I run to turn off the TV if there's any reports on him on the TV. Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, think about how we can concentrate on cutting away this black tar protection that he has. It's not easy, but he is going to pass. The problem is, you know, like Fred Phelps. I don't know if you know who Fred Phelps was, but he was this horrible, kind of like Jim Jones, evil church leader guy who hated people of like people who were gay and people who is anybody. He would go to the funerals of soldiers. He would go to funerals of soldiers who had died in battle, and their families are there crying. And Fred Phelps would show up with his sign saying derogatory words and saying horrible things. He's just a hate. He was a vision of hate. He was a physical body of hate. And God, it made me mad. And he's from Wichita, Kansas, of all places. So in my state. And he died. See, he's gone. But that's not how it works. These people, these entities die. And then they find someone else. Like, I feel like that energy went into 45. I really do. I feel it went into 45 and MAGA. So 45, he'll go, but that energy is going to go into someone else and somewhere else. And so we really have to work on, and I do feel like a lot of people have woken up and had like spiritual awakenings and all that, which is wonderful. But it's, we have to work on continuing to spiritually develop ourselves and other people, which is why, again, you have to shine your light. You have to have the light inside yourself, hold the light and share the light. And it's a buddy. Did you want up here? I can get you. You want to sit up here with me?
Come here. You want up here? You want to see everybody? Come here. Well, baby.
It's not very comfortable for him up here, though. He's my baby. He needs to have like a little bed of his own up here. But if he can sit here and be happy, I'm okay with it. Anyway, so if you're still here, what's the other thing I was thinking? Well, what we should be manifesting too is the wonderful, beautiful president or political or spiritual or what have you person. I'll show you again. You see him?
That's Buddy.
That we want. So whether that be Tim Walz, and I feel like, look at how much Tim Walz is being attacked. That tells you that he is a really good person. If the dark side is attacking him that much, he must be and he is a wonderful person. So, yeah. Oh, to be a puppy dog, right? Or a bird. Sometimes I'll look at the birds and I'll think, God, I wish I was a bird right now. God, I wish I didn't know anything about all this stuff right now. Okay, so, yeah, we need to find our spiritual guru, which really it's all inside of us. Everything's a reflection of us. But start taking attention off 45 and start putting attention on the people who are going to lead us into love. And it's not 45. Let me tell you, I'm sorry, MAGA, if you ever see this and you're like, how dare she say those things because 45 is in the light. No, he's not. I can tell you, he is not. He is not of the light. He's not a good person. I'm sorry, he may be teaching everyone a great spiritual lesson by, the opposition teaching someone, but he's not with God. He's not with Jesus. He's not, a man of love and light and happiness. No, he's not. It's all self-serving. Come here, baby. Come here. I'm going to put him up here. Yeah, come here, my sweetheart. You be comfy up here. And I'll get your blankie, okay? You stay up here. The hard thing about a dachshund is they're so determined. They're so determined. So you could put them in a chair or a bed or whatnot. They're still going to jump down. That's the thing. I always try to prevent him from jumping off things, but they still do it. Yeah, it's going to be a rude awakening. I feel like one day it's going to be like the Wizard of Oz, and when 45 is gone, they're going to go, oh my God, what? You remember how when the witch melted down, and then the flying monkeys and the soldiers, those weird soldiers, were like, oh, where am I? Who am I? I feel that's going to be that way for MAGA. When the spell is finally broken, they're all going to look around and go, wow, what happened? Where am I? And then also I see that it's going to be like Germany after the war, and they're going to try to melt into society and be really quiet, right? Because they know how much everybody is angry at what they've done. and they're going to be real quiet and pretend it never happened. Good luck with that. Good luck. The thing is, if you're not helping, you're hurting. If you're with the bad guys, you're with the bad guys. You're not with the good guys. It's just real simple. If you're not helping the innocent people, you're helping the enemy. So that's the problem with MAGA. Okay, so I think I already said this, but the other day at work, there's a lady, she said, I know I'm talking a lot. And I heard these two ladies talking. I think I already told the story, but it was after the shooting in Minnesota. And they were talking to each other. One is a liberal, one was MAGA. And I knew that kind of, but not completely. But okay, so the liberal lady, Democrat, I guess, what have you, independent, whatever. She said, did you watch the video? He shot her. He shot her in the face. And then the Republican MAGA lady said, yeah, but she tried to hit him with her car. And so he had to shoot her. She deserved it. And then the liberal lady said, no, that's not it at all. I watched all the videos. Have you watched all the videos? And then the Republican MAGA lady said, I don't need to. I just know what happened. And I just like stood there, at work, and I was like, that's interesting. Why is it that MAGA refuses to look at evidence? They refuse to look at evidence. And they always feel like they know everything. Oh God, they know everything. But they won't look at the evidence. And here, all the rest of us have had to watch multitudes of videos of this poor woman being murdered just to see who was right and who was wrong, what really happened. And in the whole world, I saw people from all over the world saying, we watch all the videos, we know, but he killed her. He killed her in cold blood. And but MAGA just refused to look at evidence because they're just so prideful. They're so prideful. Okay, so anything else? I'm worried about the Olympics, but I don't see 45 being able to invade Greenland. And what else? I should look at all my topics if everyone's still here. It's crazy. What a crazy world we live in. So right now, the world it's just more of the same. Okay, so 45. Okay, here's something. 45 is saying, well, I don't know why we should have a midterm, because when you elect a president, I don't think you should have to have a midterm. You know why you have midterms? Because if you don't, then you have corrupt people in government, and you have to have midterms to refresh the pool, the political pool, and to hold people accountable. It's a good thing. Like, we should do that with the Supreme Court. We should not have people in the Supreme Court who are there for lifetime appointments, because obviously this hasn't turned out well for us, has it? So the reason why we have midterms is because we need fresh people. That's the American way, is that we have a voice by the people for the people. So if you have someone in office for 2 years after an election and you find out they're stealing all the money, you can say, well, I think it's time for you to leave. That's why we have midterms. It stops corruption. It keeps people honest. It keeps people on their toes. They have to be held accountable. And so, he's flouting this idea right now of, well, we don't need to have elections or midterms, because he's terrified. He knows that this midterm coming up is his last election, and he's going to fail because 70% of Americans do not stand with him anymore. He's lost that many voters. I think that when you are only at a 30% approval rating, that there should be an emergency meeting, and they should start to ask, what's going on? Why is everybody so upset with this person? What's happening to citizens? What's happening to the money? What's happening to everything? And then hold them accountable. And the president should be held accountable. And there should be like hearings. What are you doing so bad that you only have a 30% approval rating? So he wants to cancel the midterm. So he's talking about how we shouldn't, and Elon, like, oh, I don't think we should even have the voting machines anymore, blah, 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 blah. I see we're going to have the midterms. We are. And it's going to be crazy because look at all this stuff happening. Just like 2020, it's the same thing. But we are going to have them, and it's going to be a blue wave. It is. Now, the other thing that's happening is they told the post office that they don't have to, okay, they don't have to postmark something. So let's say it's like a two-factor thing. The post office doesn't have to postmark something right away. And the election, whatever vote counting people can say, oh, well, this didn't arrive on the 6th of November. I decide that it's got here on the 17th of November. That's crazy. If I go to the post office and I say, I want you to stamp this right now, I want you to certify this as I mailed this off on November 3rd. Okay, postmark. I mailed this on November 3rd. So it gets to the election office the next day, November 4th. And then oh, hi, Carl. And then on November 6th, voting day, whatever voting day is, they have to count it. But they're saying, well, we can just say it got here on November 17th. That's bull crap. Hi, Carl. Sorry you lost your connection. I know what that's like. By the way, I love your kitty cat in the picture. That reminds me of my Coco. I have a tuxedo cat. So yeah, there's going to be shenanigans with the elections, but he may not even be around by that time, to be honest. It's very possible. I'm getting a lot of bots online. You know what I do? I go to the bots and I write, you're a bot. You've been sabotaged, maybe. It could be. But yeah, the bot thing. Okay, so I get a lot of bots, and bots are all over TikTok. They're all over social media. They're everywhere, and they all go back to Elon. So really, when you have a bot and they say things like, you stupid liberal, they always say things like that. You stupid liberal, why don't you go back to the... They sound like a wrestler, like a pro wrestler. I always write, hi, Elon, you're blocked. Because it really goes back. Yeah, no bots here, thank God. But it really goes back to Elon. It's generated from Grok AI. And so I just block them, I block them. But I always let them know, you're a bot. And then bye-bye. Do you remember that time, Carl, when we had Tarot Destroyer? And he was like all over the comments. I think it was when Allie was here. That person hasn't been around. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but that was before the election. So that's probably they're gone because, they got their guy. Can you make a moderator so I can block him in case? Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'm almost done here. Let's see, how do I do that? Star. How do you make someone a moderator? Let me see. Can I? I'll have to look into how you do that because I'm not sure. Nope, I don't know how to do it, but I will figure it out eventually. Can I just go here? Tools? No, that just did that thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Click on your name. Oh, okay. Click on my name. If it'll let me. I'm trying. Maybe if I put you up here. Well, I will figure it out eventually. Media, banners, style, people. I don't know. Tools? Is there a tool in here? Yeah, I'll have to look into it. How do I do it? I think I've done it before, so it's something I can figure it out. But I'll figure it out eventually. But anyway, I think that's about it. I guess the last thing I wanted to say was that 10 years of this, we've been going through this for 10 years. I mean, this really has been happening forever. As I've said, thank you, Carl. that these things that we're experiencing here right now, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And the reason why it's bad is because with Kamala, we got really close to having almost near perfect evolution and enlightenment here on Earth. And she was going to lead us to this like enlightenment. And so the dark side got really upset and scared and used key players like Elon and 45 and Miller and all these people. And they're just having a heyday because they've got this fake power. And like, we destroyed the light. We destroyed evolution. We destroyed enlightenment. Yeah. Because their job is to stop us from evolving into spiritual. You know, the demons, the dark entities want, and the narcissists in the earth want to keep us from having full evolution or a rapture or whatnot. And so that's why this is really happening. They got so angry that we almost had enlightenment. And now the thing is, on the other side, we know everything. We have enlightenment, and we're always evolving. No spirit on the other side is completely evolved. And so when they go, I do wonder, like when they go, they have their life review, right? And they get to feel all the horrible things they did to people, all the immigrants, the children, whatnot, things that they've done. They have to feel it all. They experience all of it. And they're naked in their truth. There's no money. There's no Mar-a-Lagos or White Houses or jets or anything. There's no gold, no nothing. Yeah, we'll get it. And so you die and you're naked in your truth and you stand there and really, you know, you can say you're standing before Jesus or God or whatnot, but really you're standing in front of you, the greatest judge of all. And it's also like, have you ever seen Pinocchio, where before he can become a full boy, human, what have you, he has no conscience, right? So he's a newbie and he goes around, he does all this stupid stuff and he defies Geppetto and lies and all these things. And he goes off and then he's used by nefarious people in the circus and the puppet master and all these things. And he's used and abused. And the whole time, the Jiminy Cricket is his conscience. And he's like, don't do that. Don't do that. And Pinocchio won't listen until finally he's swallowed up in a horrible scenario. It's just swallowed him completely, the whale. And he's in the bowels of the whale. And that is his consciousness finally, that finally swallowed him. And he sees what happens when you don't listen to your own self, not just God and the angels or what have you, or Jesus or whatever, but your own self. And so he ended up in, yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I should watch it. I've probably seen it. I need to watch that one too. See, I now have to watch Lord of the Rings and this and Pinocchio, and I also need to see the new Frankenstein movie. But yeah, that it's about, Pinocchio shows what it's like when you don't listen to your own guidance, your own conscience, and you're faced with your own consequences. And then, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And so, and then not and until finally Pinocchio battles his own the chaos. And I feel like right now we're in total chaos. 45 and manga and everything is total chaos. Yes, I know. I've heard good things about it. Like the artistry I've heard is really, really interesting. So total chaos in America with manga and everything. So violence is never going to end. If you promote violence, it's like a fire that you feed oil to it. It never ends. Violence is never going to end until you finally say enough. And maybe sometimes that is like Tim Waltz standing up and saying enough. Like I've had to stand up to my bullies and I've had to say no and stand up to my bullies. And so maybe that's Tim Waltz finally saying, I'm sending in the National Guard. You can do martial law or insurrection. I don't give a crap. I really think Tim Waltz is going to have to do that. He has to stand up to the bullies, the monster. And because we are in the bowels of the whale and it's as bad as it can get and it's never going to be resolved. It's never until everything's burnt down. Everything's gone. That's the thing about manga. Like, yeah, violence. Yeah, show them. They hate how Democrats are the variable that they can't control. You know, like, oh, look at their long hair And look, they didn't go to this job that I think they should go to. And oh my God, they spent their money there and they did this. And they hate that other people have behavior that they can't control. I want to control it. And so that's the manga is really fighting their own self, their own inability to accept variances of human behavior, which we all have. That's part of life. We're in the fishbowl of life. And so, okay, so violence is never going to end. So they want violence. Yeah, get the immigrants, get the Democrats, kill them, shoot them, tie them up, put them in a containment center, do all these things. And it's like violence, 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 violence. That's not the answer. You either stop it by saying you better, you have to stop this. You have the knockout fight, right? Right now, it's an unfair fight. Or you just everybody just stands there in this quiet. I feel like that's the other tactic, is for like the immigrants and the Democrats and citizens and everyone just to stand there and be real quiet and just let MAGA come, the agents, the icy roads, just come with their tactical gear and their tanks and their guns and their bombs and just do whatever, which is unfair. But maybe just be real quiet, not move, not say a damn thing, and show the world who's the violent party. It's not immigrants. It's not Democrats, because we didn't want this. We did not want this. Show the world who the violent one is and let that fire burn out on its own. Like be a wall of water, maybe like the blue wave, right? Of silence. I know John Lennon said this, if they're hitting you, don't hit back. Don't give them what they want, because it's what they really want. They want the violence. They want to make us look like we're violent people, when really they sent the soldiers. They sent the tactical gear to Minnesota. So the answer is you either stand up to the bully like Tim Waltz has to do this, then send the National Guard, or everybody gets real quiet and just stands there silently and lets the world see how violent MAGA and 45 is. Let the world see it, which I think the world is seeing it, to be honest. I really do. Okay, so the last thing is we are in this fishbowl. The outside agitators are 45 and others, and the warmongers who make money off of war. And we were all swimming in this fishbowl. Most people want the peaceful life. We may not always agree, but it's pretty peaceful. And we were just swimming in the water, the ocean of life, where all these little drops of water, the collective, we're connected to source. Yes, it's about time they see it. And then 45 is the one who drops in the acid or the oil and agitates the fishbowl and stands back and watches all this chaos. And then we blame each other. But it's really him and them. But most times in life, we're just going to swim along peacefully in the water, which is source. We're connected to source, and everything's going to be fine. And I just wish everyone could see it's the warmongers and the powers that be that are starting this war. And really, they're starting the war because 45 wants to stop the midterms. That's really what this is about. It's another George Floyd, Black Lives Matter thing, but using women and Democrats and immigrants. If people could just see that they're using us, all of us, for their purposes. But, it's so hard because you're in the middle of it. You don't have perspective. You have no perspective. And what's that Charlie Chaplin said? Life from far away life in close-up is a tragedy. From far away, it's a comedy. And another thing that Charlie Chaplin said was that he and Hitler were born on the same day in April, and they look alike, right? One to make the world laugh and the other to make it cry. And let's be the people who make the world laugh and have comfort. If there's nothing else that we do, the only reason we're born on this earth is to learn how to love and to teach each other to love on a deeper level. That's it. There's nothing else that we have to do on this earth. Nothing. There's no money. You don't take any money. No house, no clothes, no nothing, no jewelry, nothing. The only thing that matters is if you learned how to love and if you taught others how to love on a deeper level. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. So, well, I've been here for an hour, over an hour. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I guess I'll catch on the replay. I'm going to go get my dinner and wishing you all well. And remember to send out peace. Visualize peace, pray to the angels, pray to Archangel Michael to watch over us. And, you know, all the time when Ukraine has been attacked, I've prayed for Zelensky and Ukraine to be protected. I know hasn't always been perfect, but I believe that prayers helped. And so pray for us to be protected, pray for America, pray for democracy, pray for the immigrants, pray for the downtrodden, pray for love and peace, pray for peace. And I believe that we'll be protected. So thanks. And also you can do invisibility spells to protect yourself and also protection spells to protect yourself. Put a rainbow spectrum and a double bubble of protection around yourself. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye. I'll see you later.